Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday and welcome to our weekly Breakfast Buddies Online. This, if you've seen us before, we do this every Tuesday now, where we try to have a chance to speak to some of you guys online again, like we used to back when things were a bit more locked down and we couldn't get anywhere. So this is a regular Tuesday morning thing. So you can see there's absolutely loads of us today. It's either one extreme or the other doing this. Some weeks there's a couple of us, and other weeks there's a whole six of us, six of the team in. So it is lovely to see everybody's faces. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Jasmin.
How are we all?
Cool, doesn't it? Like, good morning, England. Morning, everybody.
Yeah. I'm the head teacher, so you all have to do exactly what I say, okay? I'm doing assembly. How are we all this morning? We all good?
Good, thank you.
Good,
Not
good.
too bad. I walked round to, I'm not at the yard today, so I walked round to the office, and it's the first day that I've walked round where I haven't felt like I needed my hat and scarf on. I was like,
really?
Every day it's a little bit warmer.
I don't think it is, because I just did a dog walk before coming onto this, and I had a hat, scarf, gloves, and I was absolutely frozen. I thought it was colder today. Yeah, but I don't know.
Madness.
I know, absolute madness. But it's certainly not warm.
I like this weather because I like that crispness of it. I like it's not raining.
Yeah.
I like when you breathe and you can see your breath. Yeah, I'm a bit weird, Tyler. I can see Tyler looking at me like, you are strange.
No, I'm just thinking because like everyone's going on about how they're going on a walk, but I'm happy because I had a Scotch egg for breakfast. So
Nice. Nutritious breakfast there, Tyler.
Scotch egg, hey? I haven't had one of them for ages. Was it good though?
it was a great Scotch egg. I've got another one for lunch.
Oh wow! All the Scotch eggs today. Living your best Scotch egg life.
In my mind, I'm thinking of like little ones, but realistically, I think no, Tyler's talking about big ones. I'm just thinking Tyler had one little tiny.
I'm not that keen on Scotch eggs.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah,
Have any of you had one of those ones from McGee Street Bakery? They do the best Scotch eggs ever. They do like different flavors every Sunday. They're really good. If you get, have you, do you know where McGee Street Bakery is?
No, I don't.
It's a really, really little independent coffee shop. Funnily enough, it's on McGee Street in Abington. But they do really good sandwiches, Scotch eggs. So if you're ever passing, pop in because it's really lovely. They do some great stuff there. I mean, we're talking about food now. I'm hungry. I'm on a diet. So Tyler, ruining my day. It's only 10:34 and I'm already thinking about what can I eat. All of I'm in Scotch eggs. Okay, so before we kick off this morning, as we always like to do, let's do our internal weather because I know you lot love it so much. So if you don't know what we mean by doing our internal weather, it's a nice way of describing how we're feeling today, and we use the weather to describe how we're feeling. So I will kick us off this morning. So I'm feeling a bit grey and a bit dull today, pretty much like how it is outside, to be honest. I'm really, really tired. Now, I don't know if it's just this time of year, counting down till payday. It's the end of January. Everything feels a bit, I don't know. It's all a bit boring. So I'm a bit dull and grey today, which hopefully some sunshine will pop through the clouds later and I'll feel a bit more sunshiny. But at the minute, it's a bit dull at my end. Beth, what about you?
I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling a bit drizzly today. It's not quite happiness. I've got a lot of things that I'm thinking about all at the same time. So it's kind of, I want that rain to just go away.
You want that to have a storm and then be gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel a bit like that today. I've got a lot on my mind and lots going on. So, your brain's just constantly ticking over, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on then, Zach, hit us with it. Can we just mention Zach's new hair? So this is the first time I've seen Zach since Thursday last week. And then he's come online this morning. And I'm like, wow, that's a bit of a change, but I'm loving it. How are you feeling today, Zach?
Like a sunny morning. Quite cold, but it looks quite bright.
Yeah? Feeling a bit happy then?
I'm
optimistic.
Yeah, like that. Must be that green hair.
Must be.
All the optimism through you. Perfect. Bianca, how are you this morning? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, I'm talking to myself then. That's how much I'm feeling it. But actually, I'm feeling like a rainbow. So very optimistic, very positive, because I know that there's going to be a little pot of something, yeah, at the end of the rainbow. So full of all the hope today. And maybe it's online with you guys in the morning. I don't often do this anymore. It used to be like a daily thing. You're like, yay, 10 o'clock, get my cup of tea.
Yeah.
So now I probably watch you and write like words of comments where you don't know what I mean.
Yeah. It could be a Scotch egg at the end of that rainbow. You never know.
No, that's going to be gutted.
You know what? A pot of Scotch eggs instead of a pot of gold sounds much better.
I don't know. I don't know what I prefer. I think I'll go for the gold, to be honest.
Yeah,
and then I'll buy Scotch eggs. Yeah, no good for the veggies.
Invest it in Scotch egg companies. Become rich off Scotch eggs.
Right then, Rachel, how are you this morning?
I am feeling quite, a little bit foggy. You know, when you first wake up and your brain's just trying to get there. And then I'm hoping halfway through the day it will be more of a, clear sky, relaxing.
Sounds like you need a few coffees in you to get yourself.
Yeah, I need coffee.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And then last but not least, Tyler, how are you this morning, apart from full up on Scotch eggs?
I'm very good. I'd probably say like a sunny day, but I don't like the sun, so I'd probably say like a chilly morning.
What about a sunny day but you've got a hat on?
I don't
Then
like
it's
that.
protecting you from the sun.
A massive umbrella.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So, you know, on the whole, we're all feeling quite okay, a little bit tired. I think we'll all, by the end of this online breakfast buddies this morning, I think we'll all have woken up a bit and that sun will be starting to come through those clouds. And I've got a feeling we're all going to have a great Tuesday. So let's be positive. Let's have a great chat this morning. So, Rachel, let's kick off with something that you were going to speak to us about this morning. An article that you found, which is quite a nice thing that's happened in sort of Northamptonshire, isn't it?
Yes. So one that I saw straight away and I immediately thought of Zach was there's going to be some new planning permissions happening in Northampton, and there's going to be a bubble tea shop on Gold Street.
On Gold Street?
Yeah, on Gold Street.
A bubble tea shop. This bubble tea that these lot go and get all the time.
Yeah.
Spend about
£5. One of them is a demolition of Travis Perkins, which is going to be happening. But it's going to be the second one on 54 Gold Street. It was a Polish convenience store, and it could become the new home of a Taiwanese bubble tea shop after the permissions were put in. So I thought that was really fun to mention. But I
think they could probably get quite a lot of custom from our
I love boba.
Don't you?
Love boba.
What is bubble tea?
It's the tea when it has little pop balls in it, with like different flavors in it.
Oh,
It's like tapioca sugar balls.
Yeah,
it's just balls of
like
sugar.
tapioca.
Okay, but not hot.
No, it's not hot. It's like
I mean, I'm not going to lie. When they've gone out and got one and brought it back, and I look at it, and it's not my cup of tea. It doesn't look great to me. And it's about how much do you spend on it? About £4.
Yeah, it's like £4.
Was that pun intended there?
That's a bit like the Monster, though. Do you mean can't get the cheap kind of caffeine? Have to get the big can of Monster with the proper kind of as much caffeine as possible. But I think the whole thing with bubble tea as well, it's supposed to be about an experience. I know, like, if you go to London, the whole shop is lovely, and you go in there and you sit, where Northampton doesn't have many of those kind of places, does it?
Yeah.
It's a bit disappointing.
It's that culture, isn't it? They're bringing their culture into our culture, I suppose, in Northampton. Which is nice.
Yeah. So I guess it'll be watch this space then to see if that gets permission to go ahead, is it?
Yeah, and then we also, on lovely positive news, we have in Northampton.
So before you do that, can I just remind people that like that check for planning permission is really important. Do you know what I mean? So you found something good, but all too often, especially down our street, they're looking at how they can change shops into houses or to HIMOs. And when that does happen, we really should be kind of complaining, because I know that when, like for our landlord, we had some people look around and they were like, yeah, what we'd like to do is turn this into flats. And I was like, well, would you live here? No. So is it big enough for you? No. But it's big enough for people here. Do you know what I mean? And we should be complaining about that, because I think sometimes it's such a boring thing, isn't it? But down the end of our road, so like Lee Road, where the office is based, we've got an Indian takeaway. They try to sell, like, to change the planning permission for that. And so we've got loads of us down the road to like object to it, and it didn't happen. So just because people put planning permission in, unless it's something good and you think it's going to benefit the community, we should be having our voices heard. And it's really easy to do that online. Or you have to click a button and go, I object, because parking and traffic and stuff like that are really important, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need any more betting shops. We don't need any more pound shops. True, we do need some unique things. Like, you went to Vintage Retreat the other day and you were like, there's a great crystal section. True, but we don't have lots of independent stuff at our end of town. And it'd be great to see some people having independent shops. True, to really liven up the town again. So, sorry for interrupting. I was just like, yes, that's really fun.
But yeah, it's a DIY SOS was in Kettering, and basically there was a lady called Lindsay McCauley whose husband unfortunately passed away 2 months ago, and it's a really touching story because the lady was more touched with the fact that a whole community came together and helped sort everything out to have a home again where it felt like a safe place for her. And it really reflects on like what we do. We don't do things like that, but we do have a community where we help each other, we're there for each other at the end of the day. And I thought
it's nice to hear something which something positive that brings a community together, which is uplifting, because I think is nowadays very few and far between, isn't it? Exactly. So when you hear those sort of positive stories, do you know, I haven't actually seen the article, Rachel, did the lady's husband die because of COVID? Was it something to do with that, or did it just happen the pandemic?
Fell ill. Initially he had an operation on his kidneys and bowels, and then was struck down by an aggressive cancer and passed away in November, unfortunately.
Oh, so what did they do? Did they do her whole house for her?
Yeah, so she had a extension that she was working on, and it was just like piles of decorating, like floor to ceiling, and obviously with all of that happening at home with her husband, it's just got too much on top of her, and they all community help contribute by helping decorating, clearing, donating, and it's just
that's lovely.
I think that's okay. I was just going to say, even though we aren't involved in like renovations and stuff, I think at the yard we are able to help people like this lady through things like your breakfast buddies, because that is then offering support from a social perspective and things like that, where you can come and talk to people.
Because that's what we found. I mean, like, obviously I think it's all been very much heightened through the pandemic, but there's so many people who are sort of isolated, lonely, who need somewhere to go and chat, but really don't know how or where to go, or how to even go about it. And I guess that's one of the really lovely things at the yard with our breakfast buddies, which if you don't know, we're at the yards Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 10:30 till 12:30. And there's always the kettle on and a listening ear. And what we always say is we don't sort of proclaim to be the experts, but what we can do is if you're in need of certain help with services, or, we can signpost you to the right people. There's just so many people at the moment, isn't there, that are really struggling and isolated and just need that sort of bit of extra support. Definitely. Well, that's a really lovely story. And I did actually see, although I haven't seen the actual article, over the past couple of weeks on Facebook, I did see local organisations putting posts up saying, we're going to help DIY SOS. Can anyone else help? And there seem to be loads and loads of real local organisations who sort of jumped on board and helped with that. So it sounds like a really nice way of bringing people together. I guess, unfortunately, the thing with that is that there's so many people in sort of similar situations and need that help. And obviously to be able to get a DIY SOS out to do it for you is sort of very few and far between, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, it is a lovely story. And, you know, it sounds like a really great job was done. I wonder when it'll be on the telly. Do we know?
Oh, that would be a good question. I'll see if I can find that out.
It'd be quite a good one to watch, I think, and see exactly which sort of organisations and whatnot got involved. I don't know. Is it still Nick Knowles doing it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Nick Knowles.
Doing it there, is he? I don't watch it. Do any of you guys watch DIY SOS?
No,
I haven't.
It's not really my
seen it in
thing.
a while.
I've not
Not
heard
your
of
thing,
it.
Zach.
Nah, my mum used to watch it a lot, and I used to sit there and watch it with her. But
It
she's not
is Nick Knowles, as far as I'm aware.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if we find out when it's going to be on,
yeah, I can't see no date.
don't worry, we'll stick it in the comments and let you know. But we'll keep an eye out for when it is. Right then, come on then, Tyler. Hit us with something you'd like to talk about this morning. I know you've got a few things you've been looking at.
Oh, okay. There was a new species of tarantula discovered.
Oh, where was that?
Thailand.
Thailand.
And it's the first tarantula like species that's been discovered that lives in bamboo.
Oh,
Nice.
I think
really
that's
nice.
I think that's fab when you have new species. Do you know what I mean? Because all too often we hear about things going extinct, and I know that's happening anyway. But it kind of renews your hope that actually other stuff is happening. So yeah, we're losing animals, but maybe something else is going on where you think, oh,
Yeah.
I want loads of tarantulas. You get me, Tyler?
yeah. I was just going to say, although I agree with what you're saying, I'm not so keen on there being more tarantulas than necessary, to be fair, because I'm not a spider fan.
I've actually held a tarantula before. They're not like they just sit there.
Yeah. They're also very delicate. You can just drop them and they're dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I think it's like a few meters high, and you drop them and they're gone.
Oh,
It's
you've
really
got
weird.
jumping spiders.
pardon?
Oh yeah.
You've got jumping spiders, so that doesn't always make sense.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't even want to
Spiders
think
are weird.
about jumping spiders.
Jumping spiders sounds terrible.
Yeah.
I remember the first film I ever saw at cinema, and that was where like the Jesus Army was, and then whatever it is now in the town centre, I can't remember. It's a different place, isn't it? Was Arachnophobia.
Yeah, I remember
it was about 12, 13 and going in, and everyone was screaming so much. We actually paused the film. I mean, you can't think of people doing that now. And a man came in. I was like, "Children, stop screaming!" Making it uncomfortable for other people in the thing. But it was because it was like the last day of term. It was such a big deal to go to the cinema. Everyone was so excited. But what a stupid film to watch where we just all scared ourselves.
Yeah, I remember going to see that.
Back, you think as if I was scared by arachnophobia when you see kind of the graphics, the imagery, and all of that stuff films now, like Bianca.
Oh God, yeah.
Then again, though, I was sat on my phone at like 3 a.m, and then I had like this massive spider just like crawl along my shoulder, and like I slept downstairs that night. I was like, I'm not, because obviously your initial reaction is to just like get it off.
Yeah, and then you don't know where it's gone.
And then I couldn't find it.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I'm sleeping downstairs.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Awful. I am not a big spider fan. So, but I mean, it's great that, like you say, new species are being identified and found. So, yeah. Anything else, Tyler? Did you have anything else you thought you'd like to chat about this morning? You put something else on the group. What was that other thing you put on the group?
I've put multiple stuff on the group.
Well, go on then, pick one.
So Betty White.
Right, so who is Betty White, for anyone that doesn't know?
I'm pretty sure she was an actress, wasn't she?
Yeah.
You've got a photo, stick her up.
I'm pretty sure she was like an actress, and then she passed away like late December.
She was in the
Mm.
Golden Girls.
I was just about to say, was she in the Golden Girls?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was.
She was
So
like
it
a
was
hero.
It was her 100th birthday the other day. So there was this like I'm pretty sure it's called the like Bay White Challenge or something. And they do something and then a bunch of money would get like donated to animal shelters and animal charities. And so far like $13 million has been raised.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
For animal shelters, was she like a big animal lover then?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, there she is.
Oh.
It was a really kind of radical show, the Golden Girls, when you look back on it, because it's about these 3 women who were like really kind of solidarity. They were helping each other, but they tackled racism, they tackled homophobia. They were tackling all things long before people were tackling them.
Yeah.
The other thing that I thought was really interesting, Tyler, when I was reading about Betty White, is she was older than Anne Frank.
Yeah. And Martin Luther King.
Yeah, and you know when you think to yourself, how long ago was that?
They'd be 93 this year.
Yeah, so you just feel, wow, that's madness, isn't it? To think where people are at and where you put them in your kind of in your history.
Yeah.
She's genuinely a really
I think
good
also
person. No one had anything bad to say about her.
I think also because like a lot of places will put sort of old pictures in black and white to make it seem older than it actually was. So like the whole thing with Martin Luther King with like racism, for example, and like you know, if they put it in black and white, it makes it seem like the problem with ages ago when it actually wasn't.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, I really like that Betty White. She was funny in the Golden Girls, wasn't she?
Have you ever watched the Golden Girls, Tyler?
Hmm.
Tyler?
You ever watched the Golden Girls?
I think I've seen a few episodes, but I never watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily aged particularly well, but I do think that there are some shows, like, I don't know, Baywatch, which is always terrible. Yeah, you can't watch Baywatch and go, oh my God, if we just watch women running around, and it was like really misogynistic, and do you know what I mean? And then you've got the Golden Girls, where they were like doing all this anti-racism, anti-homophobia stuff. You didn't realise that was happening.
Yeah.
Like Mark Fowler and EastEnders when he did the AIDS thing. Do you mean you don't realise how significant that is until many years later?
Yeah.
There was one other thing you put online, Tyler, which you probably don't want to talk about, but I think it's really important.
Oh, was it
happening in Ukraine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Want to tell us a bit about that?
Where do I start? I woke up at 1 and I spent like most of the night reading about it. So basically there's these like meetings that would go on with like all different countries and stuff. And I'm pretty sure like Russia's had some disagreements and stuff. So now they've put about 100,000 troops by Ukraine's borders and basically said like, you know, we're not invading, we're just putting them there because we can. If that makes sense. And so
is that Russia's put the troops there?
Yeah, and they've started building like weapons and stuff around Ukraine and stuff.
Joe Biden, he said that it's most likely to have war, didn't he? He was like, yeah, it looks like it's happening, which must make you absolutely poo your pants if you're there.
Yeah. British and like American, what's it called? Like big political people, they've been taken like out of embassies and stuff like that. And America's told any American citizens that are in Ukraine to come back to the country. So
yeah, I saw that yesterday that they were saying the US has said any people that are there, they need to come out immediately because obviously they're saying that something's going to happen soon. And I heard this morning, I mean, I'm not totally informed on all of this stuff, to be honest, but I did hear this morning that last night Boris Johnson and a couple of like other leaders were in quite a late night important meeting discussing
there's been loads of meetings to sort of like peacefully calm everything down, but apparently it's not really working. So Denmark and Sweden have put their forces up. America's just done that recently now as well, and then we've given a bunch of like anti-tank weaponry and stuff. And then I'm pretty sure the German naval chief got like forced to resign as well, because he was saying about how he was gonna sort of team up with like Russia and stuff, and then eventually go to Beijing. I think I read that somewhere.
I,
So,
I think the other thing with this, and I think that it is really important, is that we must continue to fight for a peaceful resolution. We know what happened in Afghanistan when we went there. We know what happened in Syria. We know what happened. We don't cause peace. You can't fight your way into peace. Do you know what I mean? And I just think that it's like actually really scary, isn't it, to think that actually Joe Biden, who's supposed to be better than Trump, and to a lesser extent he is, but he's not a peaceful man. That America is constantly involved in other people's wars.
Yeah.
And yeah, everybody, we know that Putin is a gangster, but will it make us any better getting involved in something where the only people who are going to be really at risk are ordinary people?
Yeah.
I thought the other interesting thing when you're listening to the news is that the Ukrainian people are saying, we'll fight to the death.
Yeah.
I mean, they have more people, but we'll fight because this is our home, this is our identity.
Yeah.
But I think it's very easy for us in the UK to go, yeah, let's support the war, or doing, not knowing how scary it is to be bombed, and how the fact that the country, like when America and England left Afghanistan, they didn't leave a pot of money to rebuild all the stuff. Do you know what I mean? Look at the amount of refugees that have been scattered across the world because they haven't been safe. All we're going to do is cause another lot of international crisis. And it just, for me, feels really scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must be, because there's the, you know, if this does all start to go off and you know, kick off, then there are going to be innocent people who are going to be affected. You know, there's going to be deaths of innocent people, children. You know, you can't have a war without that going along with it, can you?
also, like, to add on to what you were saying about people going to get affected, like, for like, because obviously we've had COVID the past 2 years and stuff, like the NHS is already like really backlogged and like underfunded and stuff like that at the moment, because they're dealing with all the backlog and still COVID and stuff. So if there was that small chance that we were going into war, like, it's just gonna crash basically, I feel like.
What makes it even more scary for me is seeing all of the stuff that happened in Kazakhstan a couple of weeks ago, where Russian troops went in and so many people died. Many people died. And the Ukrainians were kind of saying, no, why have you gone in there? What? Come out, Russia. What are you doing? So I think that just adds another level of like fear for me. The fact that they've gone in and caused so much devastation.
Yeah, it must, you know, imagine being there and it's like a ticking time bomb waiting for it to go off, isn't it?
Yeah.
Must be horrendous. So I guess, we'll watch that space on that one, because I'm guessing, again, that will be something that's continuing over the news over the next few days and weeks. But yeah. Beth, anything you would like to speak about this morning? Anything going on?
So more locally in Northampton, if I can share it with you all. My laptop's having a bit of a meltdown, so it's taking 10 minutes longer to do anything. So just bear with me while I try and. So there has been a reading campaign that has, I think it's just finished actually, that was run across Northamptonshire, and they've just won an award, and it's called the For Love of Books Challenge. And basically they challenged people to read 2.5 books a month. And this was to try and boost people reading across the country. So I think that's really good.
All ages. Is that all ages, Beth?
I believe so.
Oh, I think I did something similar like this when I was in primary school and stuff like that.
Yeah, because they do like a like the libraries and that tend to do a summer reading challenge for the primary schools, and then you know, the children see how many books they can read. But this sounds like it's a bit more for sort of all ages, just to encourage reading at all sort of levels and ages.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I think this is something really important to talk about, because at the Yard we talk a lot about storytelling, and it's something that we're really passionate about. because we obviously, I don't know whether anyone's seen, but on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday, me, Jasmin and Tashan all read books online. So I'm reading The Last Wish at the moment, which is The Witcher. Jasmin, what are you reading at the moment?
I'm reading The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes.
Yeah, and then I think Tashan's reading Bumface. So we've got quite a good range of books that are going on. So it's really nice to see people reading online.
Is that a children's
And then
book?
also,
yeah, whenever I hear Tashan go, hello, we're reading chapter 4 of Bumface. It's just like, like that
What a
story
great
could go
name.
anywhere, couldn't it? But luckily, children's story, no adult content at all. So exactly like you, Bianca's not reading that book. Have you got any good book recommendations? Because we're all twin. So if you're someone watching this today and you think, I've got a favourite book, I wish they'd read it, please let us know. Otherwise, we kind of do like a lucky dip, and some of the books we've had to read have been like,
bit boring.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You go to Waterstones a lot, Tyler, don't you?
Yeah.
What do you read?
I read a lot of like either mangas or like comics and stuff, but I like a lot of sort of science and crime, you know, sometimes fantasy and like sci-fi sort of stuff. So, yeah.
Well, I do a lot of reading. I love reading. Like I've said this so many times to you guys and on these sort of things, but I find it like, because I have insomnia, I have to read before I go to sleep. But what I've done over the past couple of years, and so I read on my Kindle now, and I know that's a bit of, some people are all for that, and some people aren't. And I like reading on my Kindle. It's especially because I don't want to have lights on in the evening. I've got like this special light that doesn't, you know, affect your sleeping. But what I've found reading on my Kindle is that I don't actually remember the name of the book I'm reading, because you know when you've got a physical book and every time you pick it up, you see what it's called, you see who the author is, and then you open it up. But when you're on your Kindle, you open your Kindle, it's just chapter 24 or, you know, whatever. So if I'm in the middle of reading a book at the minute, I read it last night, but I could not tell you for love nor money who wrote it or what it's called. Because what I tend to do is, like, I'll at the end of the month or the beginning of the month, I'll go on to like the Amazon Kindle store and I'll buy like 4 books, you know, and then they're just saved on your sort of, you know, your memory thing, and then I just go through them like that. But it does take away that ability to go to someone, oh, I've just read this amazing book, it's by so and so, because you just don't have the physicality of holding that book, and I do miss that side of it. Do any of you guys read on a Kindle, or do you all prefer the physical books?
No, I love a physical book.
I've got a Kindle, because when we went travelling, like Steve and I bought one, and I have read stuff. Like, I guess I like it because you don't have to have all your books in your bag, and you can. Yeah. I like that part of it, so you can think. Because if you go somewhere, you've only got like 3 books, and when you read them, you're like, oh man, lost my book. Yeah. But I like a real book. I mean, sometimes I'm one of those naughty people who fold the corner. Do you know what I mean? So I can see Tyler's exact space, like, whoa, don't break the book.
I'm even worse. I break the spine.
Oh,
fold it over.
Look, that's hiding from you.
That's terrible.
I like to fold the book in half.
You guys Bethany,
your books.
That isn't how you treat a book, Beth. Have feelings too. Oh, Tyler, you're not happy with that, are you?
No, we're gonna have words later.
I like books that kind of, I like reading really new books where you got that fresh book feel, but I also like reading really old books. So like at the moment, when you see me on story time, I'm reading like children's books, but I think I've had this book since I was about probably, well, I drew in it at the back years ago. Clearly when I was having a dancing day with roller skates. So we used to go roller skating when we were probably about 9. And I'm 44 now, and I enjoy reading this because that nostalgic, it takes you back, doesn't it? Like, cool, I remember reading this book for the first time, and I like that stuff as well.
Yeah.
So
Bianca also really likes writing in the front of books. So it's like she'll buy my kids like a book. So she'll, you know, write to them like, to Mabel, Happy Christmas, love, Auntie Bianca. But when she was younger, what she also used to do is get some of my books and write her name in the front of them to pretend that they were hers and not mine, which really used to annoy me when my big sister used to try and steal my books and write her name in them in fountain pen. So yeah,
you didn't do
she's a
anything
writer in books.
that was okay.
The thing is, I don't like when someone writes in books like to me, but I love sort of going to like charity shops or like finding old books and then seeing that they've actually got a note in them. Like I've got a Hobbit book from like the 80s or something, and someone's like written out like almost all of the back of the cover to like as like a gift or something. And it's like I wonder who those people are and where they are now. But it's like
and that's kind of why like we do it for like his nephews and nieces, like Steve's nephews and nieces as well. And I just kind of like that idea. But in years to come, they'll go, "Oh, I got that when I was 9." Do you mean? Because sometimes it's that nostalgia. Oh, I remember that Christmas, or I remember that year, and it takes you to those places, because that's what storytelling is all about, isn't it? It's taking us on that journey where it makes you kind of feel warm and fuzzy and lovely. Do you know? And we're all about stories, aren't we? And I think the reason we put so much emphasis on it is because there's only so many stories in the world, yeah? And so everybody, young people who come through our door, or older people when they're at breakfast buddies, there's nothing but they're telling us that we can't read.
Yeah.
But it's their version of the story that we like to hear, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? We've all heard like Beauty and the Beast, they've met someone really ugly, but they turn out to be awesome. Do you know what I mean? When I looked at them in the first place. So all the stories we hear are already real, but I really like it when you think, cool, do you realise that your life is just like this book, or do you mean, or the journeys that we're going through? I just think it's fab.
And also because people can have such different takes on things, can't they? Because I could read something and, you know, straight away it makes you think some way or believe some sort of thing. And, you know, Beth could read the same thing and it takes you on a sort of different sort of journey, so to speak. And that's, I guess, one of the really lovely things as well, because it's all, you know, it's how it makes you feel and how the journey it takes you on, which is really important, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Excellent. So,
book recommendation though, like I know, like some of you are reading now, but like I still think if you haven't read the book Girl, Woman, Other, you absolutely should. It's probably one of the best books I've read in in at least the last 10 years. I thought it was phenomenal. Because I used to really like Maya Angelou's book, and I just, do you mean, those kind of once in a lifetime people. I don't have any good recommendations for like children's books. I used to really like Roald Dahl, and I'm not a big David Walliams fan.
No, I can't say.
Henry used to like David Walliams, but he's gone off them now.
I've got a recommendation for kind of like teenage area, but I don't know.
Yeah, go on.
It's called They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera.
Well, happy Tyler, thanks for that. They both die at the end.
No, basically, so it's just like it's kind of like Hunger Games, but not, if that makes sense. It's like Hunger Games without the fighting. You'll randomly get a call being like, "This is your last day alive," sort of thing, and it's kind of just more like to like appreciate life and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like, so you've got this one boy who's like really introverted and like hates going outside. He's practically like a recluse sort of thing. And then you've got this other kid who's like in foster care and in gangs and stuff, and he's had like a really hard, troubled life. And they basically didn't know each other before. They both got a phone call that they were basically going to die like at the end of that day. And then they became like best friends and stuff. And I haven't finished it yet, but
that actually sounds quite interesting.
That does sound good.
The other book, if you've got like little people, the other author is Michael Rosen. So, which is spelled Rosen. And he's a bit like a Roald Dahl type person, yeah? But he was also somebody who went into hospital when he had COVID. And his last book that he's wrote about, I think it's Cat and Ratatouille, something like that, I think. But he wrote it, he remembers the story from when he was in his coma.
Yeah.
And when he was in hospital in a coma, the nurses wrote little messages to him because you have like a day book. They obviously sit with you when you've had COVID and They're sharing their stories. And he actually wrote a whole book about it. But he's this really kind of advocate for we need more libraries. We need every day at schools, we should end with a story.
Yeah.
At home, excited and positive, rather than ending with what you got to do for your homework. So if you haven't read one of his books, I recommend it, because remember, there's no such thing as a children's book, really. There's just different books. Do you know what I mean? I think we get to
I guess it's just
once you're 18. Whoa, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I guess it's just the sort of how advanced the language is in it, you know, for the children, you know, for example, for Henry and Mabel to be able to read the actual, do you know what I mean, and understand it. It's getting the understanding, isn't it?
Yeah, but sometimes I think we kind of underestimate that kind of stuff. So, for example, we just bought Charlie, who's 8, a child's version of The Hobbit. And it's the same book with the same words, but it's how it's printed so that you can digest it easier. And there's a few more pictures. I think sometimes we get so caught up in those books which we didn't enjoy. Oh, that's a bit adult, don't want to do that. But I remember reading like The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe and all of like Narnia's books when we were younger. And they're actually quite hard. You don't realise the level of reading. And then you do get to watch those films, go, oh, I can't believe they missed that part out. Do you know what I mean? And that's the other good thing, isn't it? Because I think that even like with the Spider-Man films and all of those kind of things, they only really make sense if you've ever seen read a Spider-Man comic. If you know the stories, if you've got some back knowledge. So one of the things that I think we need to do at our D&D sessions and our gaming is have more books and comics about, so that when you're not gaming, you can still be involved in the language of kind of stories and what's going on.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So if you've got any spare comics and you live in Northampton, drop them off at ours.
62 Gold Street.
I might have a few that I can pop down.
I have a whole collection if you want them.
What was that, Zach?
I have a whole collection. I have the Warrior Cats books that I haven't read yet. So I think
you can't have
that.
all my... I'll probably say it's a borrow, because
A borrow, not even a give now. We're gonna have power.
They want them back.
Some of my comics in there, like I've got like an Iron Man comic from like 1981. Like that's gonna stay.
I was gonna say, probably don't bring that one down, Tyler. Keep that one at home, you know, just in case.
Probably.
Otherwise, you know what could happen with that? Sophia's doing some crafting, making paper mache. You're like, oh, that'll be all right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to go through it, but like,
where's Tyler's Iron Man magazine?
If you're watching this and you think you'd like to read your favourite story and be involved in our stories time stuff, then please give Beth a shout at the yard at communitycourtyard.org, because we're always looking for different people to read stories. Like Jordan read one the other day. I think it was The Giant Panda and the Little Dragon, or vice versa. And he actually really struggles with reading because he has a stutter. And he was really nervous. It's like, Bianca, I don't really want to read because I've got a stutter. And I said to him, it's really important that you read, Jordan, because for other young people with stutters, or for other people with stutters, but it doesn't mean you can't read. And it's important to hear all those different voices. Yeah. Because when we look at people who do reading, it's normally white women. So it was really good that Tosh is reading for us as a black man. I'm still not sure about Bumface, but maybe give him a different book next time. It's like hearing all those different languages, those twangs, that kind of vocabulary. Because we had 2 young people in last night who were from Yorkshire. Yeah. And it was those little words that he used, like when his dad came, he was like, stop up, drink your tea. You don't hear those kind of quirky phrases, do you? No. So it's how we can capture those through reading. And what you'll also learn as you do more reading online is it doesn't matter if you get words wrong. So I once read a book and I just changed all the names because I couldn't read them. Nobody else knew apart from me. Doesn't matter.
Like me with Six of Crows. I couldn't pronounce half the words. I just said it how I thought it sounded.
Yeah, it's hard though. It's hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes you see a word and I just could not get my head around. I knew what it was, but I just couldn't verbalize it.
Syllables.
So I was reading The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, and then when this group of women bought the book, they were like, Bianca, we're looking for this character. We can't find it. And I was like, oh, wow. you might know them as this. And I know them honestly. So that's the whole good part about books. It's a bit like Chinese whispers. We'll all have a different interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
And it is, you know, and you know, the other thing about reading and that we need to remember, and it's something that I've spoken about over this whole pandemic, is it is actually a real good thing for your sort of well-being, because it gives you that bit of time out. It's relaxing, mental health wise. I know so many people that just taking themselves out for a half an hour, whatever you can manage, and spending some time sort of burrowed in a book really is really good for you. And it gives you that bit of escapism if you're finding life tough. So that, you know, reading has so many different benefits to it. You know, we always encourage our children to read, but I think it's just as important for us adults to read as well, for various reasons. So yeah, it's definitely worth bearing that in mind if you're struggling and, you know, with your well-being and what can I do to help. Get stuck into a good book and taking some time for you is really important. Okay, right, Beth. Zach, did you have anything you want to speak about this morning?
Voice is gone. Just that at the yard we're going to eventually do a crochet club.
What?
That I will hopefully
Crochet club?
be running. I love crochet.
So Zach is our master of crochet. You absolutely love it, don't you?
I love crochet.
And he's very good at it. Very, very good.
Very good.
He's taught quite a few young people already down at the yard how to crochet. So yeah, we're looking into a crochet club, aren't we?
Yeah.
So if you're watching and crochet is something you can do or something you would love to do, get in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things we're hoping to do with that is every Monday.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have Make, Do and Mend on a Monday, and that is from 10:30 to 12:30. Then we have a spot of lunch, which is the perfect time to then pop on down about 1 o'clock-ish, where for a couple of quid, you can get we'll provide you with the wool, we'll provide you with the crochet materials, and you even get a free cup of tea. So this is not something free that we're doing. This is a paid class, yes, because we think that we should be doing some of that stuff as well. You might, if you've been to the yard, you might see Kathy there sometimes on a Monday, and Kathy's going to be doing some of her like basic sewing classes. I'm going to join one because I'm desperate to make myself a dungaree dress. I know, but it's like a pinafore thing, but it's got to be long because I'm short. So I can't find one in the shop, so I'm going to sew myself one. And I haven't done that for years, but we got a few sewing machines at the yard, but I don't know how to use my one. So I want to go to a sewing class so I can learn. So we're going to have the sewing classes there. We're going to be doing the crochet class, which I think is a bit of a bargain. So Zach is going to be doing some little videos and telling you like, why do people crochet? What can we do? Because you might have seen in some parts of Northampton, they kind of yarn bob. So they kind of think of a theme, and then all the post boxes have got like little hats on with little themes. But we don't do that in the town centre. We could do in the town centre. Yeah. Nothing actually stopping us from actually crocheting a whole big like picture together as we get really creative and clever. I'm not at that stage yet, Tyler. I'm very good at crocheting squares. So Zach's going to have to teach me some pretty nifty moves. But I've seen all of Zach's crocheting, and he is particularly gifted and talented in this area. So crocheting isn't just for young people. So if you're an oldie, like older than me, just pointing that out, Rachel, not my age. I'm not old, I'm middle age. But you can be really young, you can be really old, doesn't matter the age, just a group of people get together, because exactly like with the book thing, the act of crocheting is really good for your brain, isn't it, Zach? Yeah. Sometimes it even turns your hair green.
This isn't my hair, it's wool. What can I say?
You crocheted yourself a wig.
Yeah. Great, isn't it?
Amazing.
Yeah. So we're going to be starting that in February. So if you feel like doing some crocheting in February, that would be really fantastic. So watch this space. Mondays, 1 till 3, crochet club.
Awesome.
That's exciting, isn't it? Even Zach's just found out the time, but it's got to be there. Zach.
Beth, what else have we got going on at the yard this week?
So, as well as the crochet club starting on a Monday, from 4 till 6 on a Monday, we do our crafting club. So yesterday we did a bit of jewellery making. Zach started a bracelet, I think he did, so that was really nice.
Yeah, I started making a necklace.
I will get my bracelet.
Rachel made a bracelet, which was really nice. And we'll wait for Rachel to show her bracelet. But in the evenings from 6 till 8:30, we focus on story time. So we do a bit of storytelling. Recently, we've been playing the game where you create a story, but each person says a couple of lines of the story.
So
That's really fun when we do that.
I'm making a little bracelet here.
Oh, that's nice, Rachel. Very good. So Gary's just said, doing anything that stimulates the mind helps with mental health. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, that is right. Absolutely, Gary. I think one of the things I like about that story thing is we did a really good one on Halloween where all the lights were down. Rachel had great makeup on, but the stories kind of always end up the same.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit peculiar. There's generally a dragon or something involved. Then the dragon dies or something. Last time they were in the middle of an ocean
with a microwave.
Tyler's hoping that I don't go too deep into some of the stories. I'm not going to.
I forgot Barry B. Benson from the hit movie, The Bee Movie.
And Rick Sanchez.
But just the act of doing that means that everyone goes around the group and they're just laughing their heads off.
Yeah.
And it's just really fab. So we have all the good lighting. So it all gets a bit spooky. And then we have to wake people up. But it's just really, really fun, isn't it? Having a big laugh. And then we do like word association games.
Yeah.
But the other thing, Beth, that Beth's going to be leading on a Monday, because Monday is all about Beth, is we're making our own magazine.
Yeah.
So apparently magazine is not the right word. We just have to call it zine.
Zine.
I don't know what the maga bit means. Maybe that's huge.
Huge.
But we've got obviously a podcast that's called Yard Talks.
Yeah.
So we're doing this magazine. We want the first copy, whatever you call it, to be out in February-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a shout out. If you've got a story, you're a writer, you're a drawer, you want to share some of the news that's happening in Northampton and beyond, especially if you're a young person. Yeah. So if this is specifically young person led, then please drop in on a Monday where we're dying, not literally, to hear the story. Yeah. And then we can write it down. We've got the mayor coming this Monday, so we're going to be asking them some questions and getting their interview into our magazine. So if the mayor is watching, watch this space because we've got some really good questions for you to find out more. Because I was surprised about the amount of young people who didn't know what a mayor does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what a mayor does, Tyler? Just like, yes, Bianca, don't ask me anymore. Zach, do you know what the mayor does?
Not really.
Excellent.
She just kind of sits there.
Sits there with
Looks pretty.
With a big chain on.
I mean, this mayor is the first mayor from Bangladesh.
Oh, wow.
We know that they have fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
And the mayor is a representative of Northampton. So they don't have some of the powers that some of the city mayors have, but they certainly have the power to kind of raise issues, kind of celebrate stuff, and acknowledge some of the good work that's going around in Northampton. So we're really pleased that they're coming to view us.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like we'll be in cages and they'll just walk around. Here's a child. Here is a good worker. And hopefully we don't scare them off too much. So we've got to do like a big clean up, haven't we? And tidy ourselves up. Everyone look for them. Or not. We'll just be ourselves, I reckon. I think we'll be there. But I think the magazine is going to be really important.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So there's another magazine that's out in Northampton, but people might want to have a look at because I guess we're doing something similar-ish. It's called The Happy Hood.
Yeah.
And so that's been going. I think it's on number 10 in terms of how many episodes. I don't know what you call series.
Yeah.
Edition, 10th edition.
Yeah, that's probably the right word, Jasmin. I couldn't think of it for love nor money then. But we've been in it a couple of times, and that's really cool. So you don't have to write loads of words, and you don't have to be an awesome writer, because our storytelling team will kind of put it into a format and help. Yeah, and as you might know, we've got Alan Moore's Rizzo machine, which is a bit like it's a machine specifically for making magazines.
Yeah.
So it'll be really exciting when we actually make something that's a bit more quirky. So it's not looking to be like all glossy. It's looking to be like oldie worldy, and hopefully readable. Yeah, so I'm liking Mondays at the moment. They feel really fun.
Yeah, Monday's a good day.
Yeah.
Anything else going on this week then, Beth, we can let people know about?
So on a Wednesday, we have our Just Living sessions between 4 and 6 o'clock, which is where we do some cooking. So for the past 2 weeks, Tashan has been making different recipes with eggs. So last Wednesday, the young people that were with us did scrambled eggs 3 different ways. So they did them in a saucepan, a frying pan, and a microwave.
Which one do you think won, Jasmin? Because you weren't there. I think other people were.
I reckon they chose the microwave.
Frying
No.
Which one won?
I mean, I personally
Frying
would do
pan.
the saucepan.
Yeah, the
No,
frying pan
frying
one.
pan.
Oh, really?
And actually, it's really easy doing a frying pan because you don't get it stuck to the bottom. You know, like in a saucepan, it takes ages to get it off. So you literally knob of butter and crack the egg straight away and just scramble.
Cool.
Straight away. I don't think any of us have ate so many eggs.
Nice.
But the idea again about Just Living is around those kind of independent living skills that maybe people don't get taught at home.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you go home for tea and your mum might say to you, do you know how to cook anything? But they don't do it with you. They just assume that you can automatically know.
Yeah.
But also, there's not the cooking lessons in schools these days like there used to be. We used to do like, you know, I can't remember what it was called now. What was it called? Home ed. They just don't seem to. They'll do the odd cooking thing, and then that's it. So you just don't get taught the same sort of life lessons anymore, do you? It makes it sound
Yeah,
really
food
old,
tech I
doesn't it?
think is on rotation with like other design technology courses.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you choose it if you want to carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my secondary school, you'd have to pick it as a GCSE to do it.
Yeah.
But surely it should be. We all need to learn. We all need to cook. We all have to eat. So it should just be part of the what's it called?
Curriculum.
Curriculum. That's the word.
But the other thing that we're going to be doing, that Sean's going to be doing, isn't just about the food. It's about like, do you know how to iron? Do you mean like? And I know that sounds really silly, but some of those basic skills, like, do you know how to apply for jobs, or do you know how to get your benefits? Do you know how to apply for college? Is your UCAS form okay? So anything that's maybe you wish you had the time to speak to a teacher, but you haven't, or you haven't got that positive person to help you with some of the stuff, we're going to be doing, because I think it makes a big difference. And while we're speaking about interviews, if Laurel's watching or watches this back later, hello Laurel.
Hello.
We miss you. But we got their resignation letter this week. So those of you who don't know, Laurel's been volunteering with us for about 4 or 5 years now. And during that time, they've completed a degree. They've now got their dream job, because Laurel loved hearts. They loved watching Casualty. They loved watching all of those kind of things. And now they're working in a hospital, doing research stuff. And it's just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So if you are watching this, we're really, really proud of you. Thank you for the stuff that you did for Community Courtyard. It's because of you that we have the yard. You were one of the young people who went to Dagenham and had a look at some of the other buildings and helped, was part of the planning and put it together. So you really are a part of our history. And without you, we kind of wouldn't have a building and wouldn't be where we are now. So we're looking forward to hearing how you're getting on, because although you've resigned from volunteering, I've got a sneaky feeling you're going to pop over at some point and let us know. But I feel in a bit safer hands now if I ever end up in Leicester Hospital.
Yeah.
For any injury at all, I'm sure that Laura will find me. She'll be like, "Oh, I can feel Bianca's in the building." But if you've got a dish that you think you can do, like, do you know how to do a boiled egg in a kettle, or have you got a cheap and cheerful thing that you can make? Then come to the yard and share it with Tashan. He always likes a good challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try not to be the one who he gets to do it with. I know that, like, Ethan thinks, like, "Hello, Ethan, would you like to do omelets?" Yeah, so try and get him to do the challenge first. That's the challenge. But that's quite good fun at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good fun.
The other thing is the reason we do that as well is because we know that some young people don't have a hot meal, especially in the holidays. So we try and do food as often as we can, because eating together is really important. And Jasmin will know, as my sister, but at our house, 6 o'clock, you stretch or starve, dinner's on the table. That's when it happens. But it's also when we find out about each other's days. Yeah, so we think it's a really nice and important thing to do.
It is.
But after that, what do we do after that, Beth? We're all about the guerrilla activism.
Legends to leaders. So we are going to be doing some chalking stuff, and we're going to be doing some different social activism kind of things. Recently, we've been talking about accessibility, and not just in the form of disability, but also for the LGBTQIA+ community and other young people who are struggling within Northampton as a community, and looking at ways that we can improve that for them, which will be really good.
Yeah, and we were asked by the council, because next month is what's happening next month? It's a whole month of it. Do you know Zach or Tyler?
There's a few things it could probably be.
Yeah.
Have a guess.
Is it just something that's like happening all month?
Yeah.
February.
All February. It's a history month. LGBT
history. Yeah.
Yeah, history month. So we've been asked to go and do some kind of guerrilla chalking. So the first week we'll be doing loads of artwork around the town centre. The second week we're going to have like a cake bake, where we're going to sell cakes and stuff. We'll be doing some at Jasmin's breakfast buddies. Yeah, hopefully Emily will be back.
I thought you were going to say at my house then. I was like, what?
The third week we're going to be reading some of the top 10 LGBTQ+ authors' stories. So we'll be reading a chapter of a different book each day, which will be cool. And then the final week we'll be looking at mental health and different little mini strategies, and Sophia will be doing that. So Wednesday night will be all about, oh my God, we've run out of time. Let's go out and do something. That's how Wednesdays kind of feel. That's that hump day, isn't it? That's the worst day of the week. We feel, oh God, never getting through it. And then we survive.
Definitely.
Yeah. What's after
Right, so what else do we have, Beth? Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
So Thursday is Game Against Gangs. So that day is all about gaming. And I don't know about all of you, but gaming is not something that I'm particularly good at. So this day is where we have young people come in, they can play different games with us, but we're also focusing on things such as team building, leadership skills, and changing some potentially negative behaviours that people have, because if they're involved in gangs, then they need to potentially move away from them. So that's what we're focusing on the Thursday, which is really good. And if you are a practitioner watching this, or even a young person, you can refer yourself to this project. So if you get in contact with us, we can send you over the referral form and you can fill that in, which will be really good.
Excellent.
So our next cohort will start in February. I think it's around, I can't remember the date that we said, Beth, can you?
21st of Feb?
Yeah, that's right. So it's quite soon. And for that cohort, we're taking on only 4 new people. So it's quite an intense little project. Doesn't mean there's other stuff going on. Because if you come to the yard, you'll see that the building has changed again downstairs. And in the next 2 weeks, it's going to change again, because we've got some different things going on. So we're going to have like a little gaming booth. So the actual particular, like if you go into a pub, you go into those booths and there's like a little TV on the side where you can watch things if you're eating your dinner. It's a bit like that, but it'll be a PC, like a computer screen, and maybe an Xbox or a PlayStation. I'm seeing which reactions work well. Or both, I don't know, but people can do. Yeah, I think Jasmin's got to head off in a minute because she's got to get ready for some other stuff. But we'll stay on and continue if that's all right with you, Jazza.
Yeah. Right, I'll shoot off then, guys. And so just quickly, so Breakfast Buddies is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 10:30 till 12:30. Pop down and see me. If you are coming, drop us an email or get in touch on social media, just because we're trying to keep it COVID safe, and so we know how many people we've got coming down. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Okay.
That's always a relief when someone goes and then you don't lose, you all get lost.
The whole thing, yeah.
Set it up today. Normally I do it. So when someone leaves, you're like, we'll still be here. But we are. That's great news. Can someone see the button to press stop?
Yes.
Excellent. That's good news. Well, I can't. I was like, oh God, I have to stop recording. You'll be seeing forever. That'll be horrible for all of you. That's not what anyone wants to see, is it? So one of the other things that I thought is after the gaming, which Tyler and Zach are both proper game. Oh, Rachel, I forgot you're a gamer as well, aren't you, Rachel?
We're outnumbered here, Bianca.
What games do you like playing, Rachel?
I like playing a lot of video games. So I always play Animal Crossing, but I always also play with my friends online, which is an open world game called Grounded. And I'm also a dungeon master, but I don't play it, I just help run it and get it all running. So I like getting involved with like just imagination, story, stuff like that. In that aspect is amazing for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Grounded is a great game.
Grounded is so good. It's like it's about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It's that as a game.
Okay.
So you're basically little people surviving in the garden, and you have to try and go through these challenges to try and get yourself big again because the machine's broken after you've gotten shrunk. So it's very fun. At the moment, my friends are trying to build a tower that's taller than the physical house. So it's a 2-story building, and they're still building a tower. So I've left it for the next 2 weeks until they've built it, and I'll come back.
What about you, Zach? What game? I know you like a bit of Minecrafting.
Gotta love Minecraft. I also play like I don't know how to describe it, but like The Witcher and Breath of the Wild, kind of Zelda games.
So,
All that
yeah.
kind of stuff. Adventure. Oh, I love those games.
I know Steve likes Zelda, and obviously
Zelda is so good.
I know that, like, for those of you who don't know, then I, at some point every day, Steve, whose his handle is Steve-O the Outlaw, he plays for us. So he's got his own stream and Twitch stuff that he does, but he also plays for us at the Arc. And every day he's doing some kind of gaming stuff. And what I enjoy is listening to him talk to people from all around the world. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And build that community. And we have about 90 people who have signed up and follow us now, which is not bad, 90 odd people. But it's fun to see how they interact with each other and the gaming. So though I don't actually play, I quite enjoy the game that he's playing at the moment. I've got no idea what it is. Of course, someone else can help me out there. But what's really good is the storyline and how it addresses some of the issues that maybe we talk about as youth workers in our everyday lives. So they were talking about suicide, they were talking about racism, and they're our conversations as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
What do you like playing, Tyler? I know the answer to this one.
I like playing quite a lot of like first-person shooters, like story games, and then horror games as well. So at the moment, I'm playing a game that was like really nostalgic when I was younger, and it's XCOM Enemy Within. So it's basically like just aliens and stuff.
I'm gonna nod like I've heard of it before. Oh yes, that game.
It's an Xbox 360 game.
Yeah.
I would say I have a book to recommend if you like Zelda. And first time I read a book and I just couldn't put it down. It's the Psychology of Zelda, and there's a lot of one of the games, for example, the Majora's Mask, is actually explaining the stages of grief chapter. So it's really into detail about, instead of it just being a game, the thoughts behind it and why they chose the storyline. And that was probably the first time I was like, I can't put this book down, I need to know more. So it's a good book.
I do like Majora's Mask like a lot, because it goes through that like emotional state in like such a creative way as well. It's so interesting.
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it? Look, that's why I think I'm really looking forward to having that little bit downstairs in the building where people can game, so I can learn more about gaming. Because I think if you come into it as like an older person, not old Tyler, old girl, then it could be a bit intimidating, because young people know how to do it instantly, and if that's not your natural thing, a bit like I always feel like Phoebe when I go for a run. Do you mean I can't run at all? I just look like a bit of a special person as I run all coordinated around the park. And I've got a bike at the moment, so I'm really learning how to bike, and you just feel like a bit of a wally. Do you mean? Just think, oh my God, I'm going to fall off the bike and die. Obviously, I'm not. But sometimes it's harder doing things as an older person, isn't it? Because you've got all that kind of baggage in your head about what do people think. So it's nice being able to watch things and get that confidence. Because my gaming level is about Tetris, I think.
Yeah.
Mario Kart. And even in Mario Kart, I don't often win.
Neither with Tetris. I haven't beaten my high school.
Okay, thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. So what else have we got going on in the week, Beth? So
Fridays we've got our Open Youth. I don't know what an Open Youth group is. Open Youth group where you can just come along, have a chill, play some pool with us, have a chat. Just a nice time, basically. Relax, or not, as the case may be, depending on how loud music is and what everyone's up to. But then on a Saturday we have all the games. And that is where Rachel comes in.
Hey.
And Rachel is our dungeon master.
Yes. So I run a Dungeons and Dragons session on Saturday at 1:30. And basically we've only done it for about 3 weeks now. We're getting new members coming in, which is great. The more the merrier. And I have to say, I have to give credit to Zach as well, because they're helping me understand the terms and like how you execute it properly instead of reading it saying, okay, this is what you do. So it's like actually getting it more of an immersive experience. So it's doing really well, and we created characters the week before, and then we continued our adventure the following week.
If you don't know what Dungeons and Dragons are, or you're a bit confused by it all, then a really good TV show to watch is The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Throughout those series, they're mentioning it, and you have to decide which character you are. I don't know, Zach, whether you are a Sheldon. I'm thinking possibly not, but you're certainly our kind of dungeon master expert.
Yeah.
But on a Saturday, you don't have to play just D&D. You fancy a game of pool, you fancy using our arcade machines, you want a game of Monopoly, or even, if you're my type of person, you just fancy a game of Snap. Yeah? Then any game is a good game, because we know that gaming generally can be quite isolating, especially during COVID, where we've had to do everything online. Yeah? There's nothing so much fun as getting together and playing something with a group of your mates.
Exactly.
It's really lovely, and we know that those kind of games bring new people into your lives you've already got something in common with, because you want a game.
Yeah.
So it's not like when I was younger, you had to go out to the pub and ask people questions like, hello, do you watch TV? What's your favourite film? because you already know that you're gaming together, and that happens within your homes anyway.
Yeah.
So that's quite exciting.
Also, if you are new to D&D and you want to like explore like how it's played before jumping into this campaign that we're doing now, voice is going. I would recommend listening to the Adventure Zone podcast, because it's like they're all new to it as well. They're all getting used to it, and it's a really easy way to like see how it's played before playing it yourself. I would personally recommend the first arc, because that's when they would actually get started. But it's a really good show, and it's like a great way to introduce yourself to the game.
Oh, great. Yeah, thank you.
See, as always, being really helpful. What you got? Absolutely, doing fantastic stuff. Well done, as always. One of the things that you might not know is, like, when we set up the yard, we had funding for 3 years, and this is our 3rd year. So this is the time when, over the next few weeks, we're asking people, what do you think of the yard? Is it doing what it should do? What would you like it to do for the next 3 years? So we are going to be applying for continuation funding, but should we be doing it exactly as we are now? Are there things that need to change? What do you think? Just off the top of your heads, is there things that you think work really well? And what would you like to see different at the yard for all 4 of you? That's a question for you now. And then we'll kind of end on that. So if you're watching this stream, if you've got any ideas, please let us know, so then we can let the lottery know what's worked well and what do you think we need to kind of continue learning. Who'd like to go first?
Changes that I do feel like maybe I understand that we're probably going to do like a place upstairs where it's like a little safe space, like a hide. But is there something we?
No,
can
we're not going to do a hiding place upstairs.
No, not hiding, but like a cozy area.
Like a what?
A cozy area, really, to like calm down.
No. No. Upstairs. So we've got the gym.
Yeah.
We've got the garden, which we haven't done a lot with the garden, so we need to have a big think, like, what are we going to do in our garden? So if you want to, maybe we need to set up our own DIY SOS.
Yeah.
Garden, because quite frankly, none of us have got green fingers on that element at the moment, have we?
No.
And then, of course, that was light then, Tyler. It came into you.
Yeah. I don't have a main light, so I'm trying to like I got a lamp thing.
And the lamp is cool.
It's being awkward.
So after the gym, which we'll be using more, because obviously we haven't spoken about that since really Luke left. But there's a gym, and young people can come, but you can only be in there with a member of our team. Yeah, so it's not like just a drop in his space for young people. So maybe you want to do a workout with Jordan or Tashan. Or maybe you want to come and help Steve because he does all the proper weights and stuff there. Or maybe you're more like a Bianca gym person, just want to use the row machine. Energetic as I can manage. But next door to that is kind of like a meeting space and our gaming area.
Okay.
And then as you go upstairs, you've got the podcast room, which will have a couple of chairs in, so that's where our creative counselling takes place. Yeah, because it's quite a calm space. And then you've got the classroom, which will have within it some multi-sensory equipment, because we do have a lot of young people who attend the yard who are neurodiverse and really like all the sensory stuff. So, but we don't have a space where maybe you can just hide it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But obviously on a Tuesday, although I'm not there at the moment, you have ESOL classes. That's why we've got the classroom to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Living our best lives.
Yeah.
So Jack's glad that I'm not doing ESOL today.
I don't know what we would change. That's the thing. So I'd be very interested to know like what we could do to make, like, I don't know, improvements or adaptations and stuff. Would be really good to hear.
What about for you, Jack? What do you think you'd like? What's worked well? What do you like about the yard? And what do you think, you know what, it'd be even better if?
Like, I like that we're having like a bunch of different things, especially starting in February, that we're gonna have like a bunch of different things you can do. So you can just show up and like relax, or you can do this thing or this thing or this thing. Like, it's like a very wide variety of different things that anyone can do. I do like that. I don't think I know anything that we would change, to be fair. I think it's quite nice as it is.
Do we need more staff? Do we need less staff? Is there a particular, like, is there equipment or something you think, oh, I wish they had that at the yard?
Yeah, I think the sensory room, not sensory room, but the sensory equipment would be a great addition, because a lot of us get like overstimulated because we're autistic, ADHD, whatever. And like, it's really nice to just like unwind with that like sensory input.
Yeah.
So that would probably help a lot. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I think we've got it down mostly.
Also, one of the things that I'm really excited about, or that I have been, because obviously we're like year 3 now, is when I met people and said, I think you'll do some volunteering, and they went, I won't. And now Zach's going to be doing some stuff with us. We've got Rachel doing some stuff with us. Even the dog wants to be involved. I've changed from my beagle. I'm like, yes, I want to be involved. I really like that we've got our service members leading the way.
Yeah.
And you're right, Gary. We asked the people who use the yard, and luckily for us, we've got a couple of them on here. We're always asking people at the yard, what do you want to do? And that's why our program changes.
Yeah.
So, for example, we have had a girls group. We're not running that at the moment because the group of girls, but they did their particular project, and then it achieved what they wanted to do. And now they're all at college and doing other things.
Yeah.
So it kind of did that part. We had a specific session where it was LGBTQ+, but then the lowdown changed their sessions, so we don't need to do that anymore because we're not competing with people. We're competing. So we've changed that. So we will always be an LGBTQ+ IA safe space, and we will always be allies of that community. But we don't need to run a particular session unless there's a particular need.
Yeah.
We know that in January, all of us go, new year, new me, let's be healthy. And so we are going to be doing that Couch to 5K stuff. But we know that come April, we won't be feeling new year, new me. We'll be like old year, still running. But we won't have that running support. So we're constantly changing in terms of what it is. We didn't have a creative counsellor this time last year. But as a direct response to young people not being able to access CAMS, not having the time to wait for some of the lowdown and Service 6's resources,
Yeah.
we knew that there was a specific group of young people who would have benefited from art therapy, and that's what we've provided. So we feel like we are constantly changing, but we think that there are some core things that should stay true.
Yeah.
Do we think that breakfast buddies work? What do we think in the morning? So it's always those questions that I think are really useful for us to be having a kind of mindful. Hello, dog. Tyler, what do you think about what would you like to see and stuff like that?
I don't really know because we haven't really finished some of the things we're still setting up. So like the gaming room, for example. So I think we should kind of like finish with that before thinking about what else should we do, I guess.
Yeah, so some of the rooms are works in progress, aren't they? Because of COVID, we haven't been able to finish stuff as quickly as we'd like. And it also meant that because of COVID, there is a issue in terms of getting access to some of the equipment that we've wanted. Yeah, so we know that, for example, PC equipment has been really hard to get, and the price of it has rocketed.
Yeah.
So it has taken a longer time. But I think that within that, for Beth and I, we are always thinking, what should our sessions look like? So we're going to try and keep the timetable we've got now for half a year. Yeah? So that means that in the mornings, 10:30 to 12:30, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, in the building, there'll be something going on. Tuesday, online, something going on. We want to make sure that there is somebody reading a book 3 times a week. Yeah? For the next 6 months. we want to make sure that we can have gaming going on online on our Twitch channel at least 3 to 5 times a week. They feel like really important things that we do. For next maybe 3 months, we'll be opening until 8:30, but as the weather gets lighter, we'll then extend our opening times.
Yeah.
So we'll go later and later as we get into the summer. But we used to just be open, didn't we? As soon as we opened at 10 o'clock, we were non-stop until the end. But now we've got this time where we close the door for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue doing that because it gives us a time to do specific clubs like the crochet club. It gives us time to actually do a specific project like Game Against Gangs where people are being referred in. But also, and I know that all of you will be really pleased about this part, it gives us time as a team to do training. Yeah, yay! Look at happy faces. Lifelong learners. So we're trying to structure our day slightly differently now. And we're able to do that because really, this feels like it's our first year. Because this is the first year where we're not got the same kind of restrictions as we previously had. And we've seen that by the numbers of young people who have increased over the last couple of weeks coming through our door. Do you mean? So we've got lots of new people at the moment, haven't we? I mean, yesterday we had around 20 new young people in and out during the day in our evening session, which was really lovely.
Yeah.
And they're bringing with them a new lot of energy that's keeping us all kind of busy and excited.
Yeah.
And that's really good too. But if you have someone who's been to the yard, so you can come along and tell us what you think. You can look at volunteering with us and you can find out more. Yeah, so do make sure you get your voice heard as we get into this next development stage, because that's what Laurel did.
Yeah.
Laurel was part of that development. Said, you know what, I think the yard should look like this. But now we're at the next stage and we're going to be planning for the next 5 years. Yeah, make sure your voice is heard. Now, I've just had a message from Steve who said to me, oh my goodness, Bianca, you lot have talked for 2 hours. Which, you know me, is not very logical. So we'll end it there. And we didn't get a chance to talk about cost of living, so we'll put some stuff about that on our line.
Yeah.
So that all the things we've spoken about today, you'll be able to find in the chats. I've really enjoyed having a natter with you all today. Yeah, it's been really lovely. I better not do it next week. You'll never get lunch ever, will you? Yeah, but it's been really fantastic. So cheers, Gary. You have a great day too, mate. And Zach, we'll see you in the week. Rachel, we'll see you Thursday. And Tyler, we'll see you every day as always. And Beth, thanks for the great work you do as well. Have a great day out there. Stay safe. Keep wearing your masks, even though you don't have to. Take care.
Bye.
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 Yay.
If it wants to end.